So you're looking at me and Larod, and you're thinking about anything to do with current events, and I guarantee you it won't take long before you figure out I look like some kind of cop, and you might not have noticed, but Larod is black. And yet, here we are, sitting on the log together, hanging out. I'm not a cop. He's way more than black. But it is what it is. This is how the world sees itself right now in all these different oppositions. And this is not new. There's every kind of conflict that goes back as long as history and as long as time. And what we do as human beings is we get caught up in this thing of like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Why? We get lost in why.
Well, let me tell you, why is a start. But what is what's real? What is happening right now? Two men, powerful in our beliefs, love our families, sitting in a tree in a park. That is what's so. That is what's real. None of the story of who you think I might be or who you think he might be. All of the what and the why, I mean all of the why and the how don't matter. What do we want next? What do we want from our lives? What do we want in our communities? I can tell you what I want. I want a world that matters. I want men around me that matter. I want to have communication and connection, and I want to believe again. I want to have the courage to connect with people who don't look like me, who don't believe like me. I want to constantly be pushed and moved forward and be in a space with people who will challenge me and not push me away just because I believe and think differently from them.
And here's the thing, why? Doesn't matter. Why did we get where we are? It'll matter later when we get out of this place. But we may as well just decide aliens came down, decided to put an experiment and put little chips in our brain, and they've controlled us for the last 100 years. Why? Because we're here. Why will matter when we're not here anymore? Why the house is on fire does not matter while it's burning around you. Getting the hell out of the house, moving the kids to the street, then being safe, then making sure the fire goes out and it doesn't burn down the whole neighborhood, then figuring out, what happened. Now, after we're out of that place, that's a beautiful time to talk about why. So then it doesn't happen again. I'm all about that. But here at Forged Legend, we are not a place that focuses on why. It's not that I don't care. I just know that while you're in it, you'll never see it. You can't put out a fire inside of a house that's on fire. You got to be outside. You need some perspective. And the thing is, you get out of that place. Once you're out of that place, the perspective is easy. It's easy to see why later when you're out. Right now, what we got to focus on is how do we get out of this place? What's the next move? How do we connect and move forward?
As you were talking, I started to think to myself, what do people want? Do people want the fire or they want the house? See, I think that people have spent so much time and energy focusing on the shit that they don't want that they never actually get what they want. See, the fire gets all of the energy because our lizard brain is always drawing us to that's dangerous, to media, salacious news, to that's going on in the world, to barbershop conversation, all of the that antagonizes us. And that's the fire. And we spend so much time focusing on the fire of the why that we forget that we want the house. If you could go back to the desire of wanting the house, soon you'll just figure out, well, let's put out the fire. Sitting on this log next to this man should be an alert to everybody. Hey, this is what we want. We want to see more powerful men who believe that we all can, who are willing to share, who are willing to and have the courage to connect and cross over lines, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's business, whether it's family. We connect on values, not opinions. I think that opinions are the weakest forms of ways that people can build relationships. Values, the core things that matter, is what binds people together.
And no one will ever get anywhere blaming why and how it happened. Where we want to be is like, hey, where do we want to go? Where do we want to build? Let's create something together. Where do we want to go? Because the thing is, if you don't know what you want, you already have it. If you don't know where you want to be, you're already there. Look around. Here's what you want. You got it. You're right there. This is not how we live our life. We create and we disagree about all sorts of all sorts of Politics is just the start of the things we disagree on. But what I found is that with all those disagreements, we got way more that we agree about. way more. When we start saying, hey, where do you want to go in your life? Where do I want to go in my life? Man, I'm not saying it's the same place, but boy, it's in the same neighborhood.
That's what matters. So if you have the courage to connect with men that disagree with you, if you have the courage to be in environments that are different than you used to be in it, if you have the courage to face powerful men and have real conversations about what's going on in your life and be willing to do that with people who may not look like you, sound like you, or be where you're from, then you have the power to be a legend.
And becoming a legend is not a factor of becoming like me or like Larod. This is not a game of me or me over here. It's a game of we. It's becoming the best version of yourself. Entering into rooms where you're never the biggest guy. You might be the biggest guy in one aspect, but in every other aspect there's someone who dwarfs you. And that's amazing, because that lets you grow. That shows you the way to be whatever it is. Because there is no grand poobah. There is no big dude who everyone looks up to and we're all trying to be like that guy. There's not one acceptable car that everyone wants to get and then you've arrived. No one's ever arrived in this game. This is a game of we, not me. It's a game of you. I want to invite you to Forge Legend. It is a place for you, built by you, whose rules are followed and administered by you, with a whole bunch of men who say, hey, what do you really want? Let's get you there.